was pretty overwhelmed by the heart of the people in the church there. I was amazed by their commitment to evangelism, which is so difficult because of the culture that they're a part of. I sure appreciate the heart of the people in the church, especially the pastors there, that amidst that they have a growing excitement about the vision God's given them to plant churches in other communities all around their area, in a number of locations. We visited town after town of places where there's literally 10,000, 15,000 people live in this community, and there's no evangelical church there at all.
We got the privilege of spending the evening in Dan's and Yana's house. While we were there, we learned that Dan is suffering from a degenerative eye disease. The first time he went for surgery, he had to ride the bus up to the town where the surgery was going to be at, and one of his family members went with him. Dan went through the procedure, and the doctor said, you need to wait 8 hours before you can leave the town or leave the hospital. He found a very small cafe there close to the hospital. As he was sitting there, he overheard two young men sitting behind him starting to talk about God and Jesus and life and what's going on in their lives and how they can get better in their lives. Shortly thereafterwards, Dan felt a nudge, and so he went over and sat with these two young men. In the 2-hour conversation that he had with these two men, he won these two kids to Christ.
We had heard from Pastor Vladia that they had begun a new outreach and had begun reaching these people. And so we literally go into this compound. It's an old Soviet army barracks that's been refurbished to be an apartment complex for Roma people.
320 people live in that complex.
Exactly, yeah. So lots of people from this people group living in this one apartment complex. We go into the back room, into the living room area, and there is an entire living room full, at least 4 generations of new believers, new followers of Jesus. A young man, I would guess he was probably in his mid-late 20s.
Probably, yeah.
Missing a few teeth, big, burly guy. I mean, really big, burly guy. But he had been the enforcer for the entire Roma people group to protect them. And just in the last few months has become a follower of Jesus. Amazing story. So he asked, Pastor, would it be okay if I shared my testimony of how I came to know Jesus? So for the next 45 minutes or an hour, he shares his story about coming to Jesus. But now that he's a follower of Christ, the pastor suggested to him, maybe you should think about getting married. And he said, why? So as they talked about it, he said, wait. If I were to get married, could we invite the entire apartment complex, the entire village to come to the wedding? And then you could tell everybody about Jesus? Okay, I'm ready. Let's get married. What we're doing in this partnership is really making a difference for eternity.
Yes.
There's so much potential there, and it is frustrating from an evangelistic standpoint that ministry moves slow there. But it's not because the heart of the people who are believers are lacking fervor for the gospel. It's because the people that they're trying to reach have been conditioned by their culture for generations that there is no God, that He's dead. But as we move forward in this partnership, I think there's just great encouragement and evidence that really there could be tremendous breakthrough in this generation.